At the beginning of the story, we are shown an airport. There, we see a pilot named Brad. He is rushing towards the plane while talking to his daughter on a video call. His daughter says that she saw the news this morning, which reported that the weather in the area he's going to is very bad. Because of this, many other flights have been canceled. Therefore, he should also cancel his flight and come back home. But Brad smiles and replies that he has safely flown planes in such weather many times before, so she shouldn't worry. He will be home soon. Hearing this, his daughter becomes happy and cuts the call. After that, Brad goes to the plane's cabin and meets the co-pilot. The co-pilot was a little nervous because it was his first time flying a plane today. Just then, a flight attendant comes and calls Brad out. There, a police officer tells Brad that due to an emergency, he will have to take a murderer named Tony with him. Tony is a very powerful and dangerous person. He is accused of murder and will now be taken to another country by plane and imprisoned for life. The police officer tells Brad that they are giving him this responsibility because he is a capable and intelligent pilot. Brad agrees and seats Tony in the last row so that the other passengers are not disturbed. After that, all the passengers take their seats and Brad goes to the plane staff and confirms that all passengers have arrived, after which the plane takes off. After reaching altitude, Brad puts the plane on autopilot and starts talking to the co-pilot about his family. Brad shows the co-pilot a picture of his daughter on his mobile and says that he loves his daughter very much and they have no one else in this world except each other. On the other hand, the passengers on the plane were enjoying the journey. But they didn't know that something very bad was about to happen to them soon. Both pilots in the cabin were also happy, and the plane was flying normally. But then suddenly, the weather turned bad, and the plane started to shake slightly. Because of this, Brad becomes worried, because he didn't feel right. He announces to all passengers to fasten their seatbelts and tries to talk to the control tower via radio. But he couldn't connect because all the radios there stopped working due to bad weather. Just then, a strong lightning strike hits the plane. Because of this, the plane starts to shake violently. Brad goes out of the cabin to check on the passengers. Seeing the passengers, Brad feels a little relieved because all the passengers were safe. But here, the lights were slowly going out, and then the plane gets several more jolts, due to which Brad's head hits the ceiling in front and he falls down, injuring his forehead. Seeing this situation, all the passengers started to panic. Brad quickly returns to the cabin and with his colleague starts to control the plane. This was a very difficult time for them. Due to bad weather, they couldn't see anything ahead. Brad says that they have to bring the plane down because if the plane gets one more jolt, it could be destroyed. They immediately start to reduce the plane's altitude, and the plane starts to go down rapidly. The passengers inside the plane were very scared. Just then, the mobile phone of the police officer who came with the criminal Tony slips from his hand. He unfastens his seatbelt to pick up his mobile phone. To help him, a flight attendant also unfastens her seatbelt and comes forward. Now, because the plane was going down rapidly, because of this, as soon as their seatbelts were unfastened, both of them hit the ceiling violently. They hit the ceiling so hard that they die instantly. Meanwhile, the plane comes to a very low altitude, and somehow both pilots manage to control the plane. But now, the plane didn't have much power left, so Brad couldn't take the plane to the airport. Because of this, Brad thinks of bringing the plane down and crash landing it in the sea. But then they both see an island a short distance away, after which Brad changes the direction of the plane towards the island and decides to land on the island. After many difficulties, Brad finally makes an emergency landing on a road on this island. Luckily, all the passengers are safe in this emergency landing, and no one is injured. Just then, there was a short circuit in the back of the plane, which makes Brad happy because there was still some electricity left in the plane. After all the passengers get off the plane, a flight attendant tells Captain Brad that the police officer who was taking the criminal Tony has died, and a flight attendant has also died. Hearing this, Brad becomes very sad. On the other hand, the owner of the airline company sees that one of his planes has suddenly disappeared because he had not seen the plane land, and due to radio malfunction for a long time, he was unable to contact his pilot. That's why the owner of the airline company calls a rescue expert named Scarsdale, who works to find people who are stuck in trouble somewhere. The owner of the airline company tells him that he needs all the details of his plane, such as where it went, where are his workers, and all the passengers. After which, the rescue expert gets to work. On the other hand, all the passengers were wondering why they had landed here. Brad gathers all the passengers and explains that they had to land here due to an emergency. There is still some electricity in the plane, which they will use to fix other things. Until then, they should relax here and not panic. They will leave here very soon. After which, Brad goes to the plane and starts fixing it. But he sees that the plane has very little power, so they will have to wait for help. They take out a map and start looking at their location themselves so that they can find out where they are. Brad's co-pilot tells him after looking at the map that they are stuck on a private island. This place is very dangerous. There are people here who do not obey any government. If these people catch them, their lives could be in danger, and their government will not be able to save them. Hearing this, Brad says that now they have to call their rescue team here from somewhere so that they can come and save everyone. And here, Brad takes a very big step. He says that Tony will go with him. Saying this, he unlocks Tony's handcuffs. Here, Brad tells the plane's co-pilot to get to work repairing the plane's power. He will try to bring the rescue team here through any contact soon. After which, Tony and Brad head towards the jungle to find the radio. On the way, Tony thanks Brad for trusting him. Now we see the terrorist group living on this island. A man runs to them and tells the leader of the group that a plane has landed on the island due to an emergency, and there are many people inside who are from different countries. Hearing this, the leader of the group gives some money to the man and tells his team to get ready. Brad and Tony are moving forward in the jungle of the island. Tony asks Brad why he freed him and where he is taking him now. Then Brad tells him that he cannot put everyone in danger because of him, and there is a dangerous terrorist group here that he has to face with him. Then Tony tells Brad that he is from a military background and has served in the U.S. military for many years. After a while, Tony's voice stops coming from behind. When Brad turns back, Tony was not there. He had escaped from Brad, and now Brad proceeds alone in the jungle. As Brad moves forward in the jungle, he goes into an abandoned factory where he finds a telephone. But the old-fashioned telephone was broken. After which, Brad starts connecting the wires of the telephone on the side, and the telephone starts working. Brad quickly calls the helpline. Brad tells the helpline his location and everything, but due to some disturbance on the line, his voice was not reaching the person on the other end properly. Because of this, the helpline people cut Brad's call. Then Brad gets an idea. He calls his daughter and asks her to write his location and all other things on a paper and deliver it to his office. Just then, during the conversation, a man comes from behind and attacks Brad. But Brad manages to subdue him with great difficulty and beats the man unconscious. Then Brad feels that another man is coming into this room, so he quickly hides. But that man was none other than Tony, who had killed many thugs and taken their weapons, and he calls out to Brad, "Don't be afraid, come out." Then, when Brad comes forward, Tony hands Brad a gun for his protection. After that, when they both come to the lower floor of the factory, they find a camera here. From the camera recording and passports found there, they learn that the terrorists living on this island kidnap people and demand a large sum of money from their families.
And even when they receive money from the kidnapped person's family, they kill him instead of releasing him. Seeing this, Brad understands that their passengers are also in danger. After this, they both go outside and see a car in front of them. This car belonged to the terrorist who was killed by Brad a while ago. Now they both get into the car parked outside and start moving towards their passengers. Meanwhile, all the passengers are waiting for Brad, hoping that Brad will soon bring help for them. Then they hear the sound of a car. Hearing the sound of the car, these people become happy and they think that Brad has called a rescue team for them. But this was not a rescue team, but terrorists living on this island. They start firing bullets to scare all the passengers. Brad and Tony also heard the sound of those bullets, after which they increase the speed of the car and try to reach the plane quickly. The leader of the terrorist group asks the air hostess for a list of all the passengers. Out of fear, the air hostess quickly brings in the list. Then a man from the gang asks the co-pilot, "Where is your senior pilot?" To which the co-pilot replies that he went into the jungle for some work but has not returned yet. Just then, Brad and Tony also arrive there, but they both are secretly watching these people from a distance. During this, a woman tries to escape from there, but they shoot her and kill her. Seeing this, Brad goes to help them, but Tony stops him, and Tony says, "You stay calm. It's not right to go now." The gang leader makes all the passengers sit in a bus, and the gang leader leaves his two companions there and tells them to go and get whatever valuable items are inside the plane. After this, they start taking all the passengers to their hideout. After the gang leaves, Brad starts getting angry at Tony that they took their passengers and you didn't let me go, to which Tony explains to him that there were too many of them. Even if you had gone, you wouldn't have been able to fight such a large army alone. Now they both start moving towards the plane and catch the two goons who were stealing valuable items from the plane. Brad asks them at gunpoint, "Where would your leader have taken the passengers?" To which he replies that there is a hideout of theirs a short distance from here, and they must have all gone there. On the other hand, Brad's daughter gives Brad's written paper to the rescue expert, on which the plane's location and all the information are written. The rescue expert finds the plane's location with the help of a satellite. They come to know that the plane is stuck on an island, and they also come to know that there is a dangerous terrorist group on this island. After this, the rescue officer calls a captain of his private army and explains the whole situation to him and asks him to go to that island. The captain of the private army agrees, and along with his companions loads a bag full of money and many bags of weapons into the car and gets ready to go to that island. On the other hand, Brad sees that the co-pilot of the plane had repaired the plane's power system before the terrorists took them away, and Brad sees that the power has returned to the plane. Seeing this, he becomes very happy. Now Brad writes a message on his uniform for the upcoming private army team and leaves it there and sets off with Tony to the place where the gang had taken all the passengers of the plane. Through the jungle, they both reach the terrorists' hideout, and they both get out of the car and secretly enter the place where all those goons were scaring the passengers and making their videos so that they could send these videos to their families and extort money from them. On the other hand, the private team sent by the rescue expert also reaches the plane. But when they don't find anyone there, the team leader goes inside the plane to check, where they find the dead bodies of two people. These were the two people whom the gang leader had told to steal all the valuable items from the plane, but Brad had killed both of them. The captain of the private team also finds Brad's left message, which was the way to the terrorist gang's hideout. At the terrorists' hideout, Tony and Brad were secretly keeping an eye on them, and as soon as they get a chance, they both secretly come from behind and kill two terrorists. Then they both secretly move forward and reach outside a room. All the passengers were imprisoned inside this room. Now Brad wanted to free these people, but there were many guards on duty, and Brad did not have the key to open the door lock. After this, they both kill those guards one by one, and Tony picks up a hammer and kills many guards with the hammer. Here, Brad takes the key from a guard and flees those passengers from the room. He tells them to quickly get into the same bus in which the terrorists brought them here, and they all quickly get into that bus. Just then, Tony comes to Brad and tells him there is only one way to get out of here by car, but there are many goons standing there with guns who will start firing at them as soon as they see them. When Brad looks at the passengers, they are all very scared. Now Brad makes a decision putting his life in danger, and tells Tony that he will distract all the terrorists present there, and Tony should take advantage of the opportunity and take all the passengers from here. Now, at first, Tony refuses Brad to do so. He says that doing so will kill him, but Brad says that there is no other way for them. Hearing this, Tony agrees. Brad leaves there and comes to the terrorists. There, Brad talks to the gang leader that he is informed for help. A rescue team will arrive here soon, so let all the passengers go from here. Hearing this, all the gang members laugh at Brad and start beating Brad. The gang leader says, "How can I leave them like this? I don't leave anyone without money." And now, just as they are about to kill Brad, the rescue team arrives there and attacks the terrorists. And after a long time of firing, they kill many people of the gang and rescue Brad and take Brad in the bus and leave from there. Here, the gang leader sees that along with many of his companions, his younger brother has also been killed. Seeing this, he becomes very angry and swears that he will not spare a single one of these people and will kill everyone one by one. After this, he tells his team to get ready quickly. They will soon leave to kill these people. In the bus, the captain of the private team tells everyone that they are a small private team of only 5 people who have come here on a mission to save them, and they are not a rescue team. It will take some more time for the rescue team to arrive here. Hearing this, Brad gets scared and says that they don't have time, because the gang members will soon come after them and kill them as soon as they see them. But he has an idea. On reaching the plane, Brad tells all the passengers that the power has returned to the plane, which means the plane will start now and they will leave from here immediately, so all of them should quickly get into the plane because they cannot wait for the rescue team. It will take time for them to arrive here, and if they stay here, they will be killed by those terrorists. Hearing this, everyone gets into the plane. While Brad starts checking the plane thoroughly and the private team members sit ready for the impending danger, just then the terrorist group suddenly attacks them. Seeing them, the private team starts trying to stop them, and there is a lot of firing from both sides, but this private team had very good guns, due to which they kill many goons. Brad quickly tells the leader of the private team that he is going to start the plane after the next 5 minutes, and all of them should also quickly get into the plane. After this, Brad goes to Tony and thanks him for supporting him in his difficult time. Brad, protecting himself from bullets, comes inside the plane and sits in his cabin and starts trying to start the plane with his co-pilot. Meanwhile, Tony runs out of bullets, and when he checks the private team's bag to find bullets, he finds a bag full of money there. But at this time, Tony leaves the money and takes out bullets from another bag and starts fighting the terrorists again. Here, by then, Brad also turns the plane to the right side. Now the soldiers of the private team also start getting into the plane one by one, and Tony gives them cover fire. Due to the power coming back, the radio also starts working. Now the owner of the plane company tells Brad that he will tell him a safe place where he can go. Now everyone gets into the plane, but Tony does not get in. He runs away with the bag full of money because if he went back with them in the plane, the police would catch him again and put him in jail. The gang leader goes mad with anger seeing his companions dying. He thinks of bringing a rocket launcher in front of the plane and blowing them up in one go. But Tony sees him at the right time. Now Tony quickly picks up a gun and shoots him dead and saves everyone's lives. Seeing this, Brad is very happy with Tony's work, and Brad manages to fly the plane with all his might. Seeing this, Tony is happy for all the passengers and Brad and runs into the jungle with the bag full of money. Brad takes the plane away from this island, and the owner of the plane company tells him about an airport where they could go, which was now quite close to them. Brad takes the plane towards the place told by the owner of the airline company, but then once again the plane's engine catches fire and the plane starts to be destroyed. So Brad again turns on the emergency warning and slowly tries to bring the plane down to the runway. Finally, after much difficulty, Brad lands the plane on the runway and everyone's lives are saved. Brad and his co-pilot are very happy. Meanwhile, the owner of the plane company and his team were also very happy. Now Brad goes back to check on the passengers and sees that all the passengers are safe. And seeing this, his heart finds peace. All the passengers standing there start clapping for Brad and thank Brad. For a while, the rescue team also arrives there for them, seeing which all the passengers become happy. Here, Brad sends all the passengers with the rescue team, and the captain finally takes a sigh of relief and sits on the plane's stairs and talks to his daughter on the phone. With this, the story ends.